Hello, folks. Welcome to the Genuinely Interested podcast. My name is Roy Bensby, and I'm your host. And this week we have Mike Lemaire. Mike is a Glory Kickboxer, professional fighter, certified nutritionist and personal trainer, pit bull owner, and just all around super cool guy. We had a lot of fun in this week's episode, just shooting the shit about fighting. Whenever I talk to fighters who are fight fans, it's a lot of fun because we obviously have the same interest. We're both fight fans, and it's fun to talk about future potential fights, future fights that are happening, past fights, especially Mike being from France. We talked a little bit about the K1 era, which was one of the best eras of fighting. There's some amazing fighters that came out of that era, from Walkout to Masato and Andy Sauer, which I think that was a K1 Max. And then you had the K1, the big boys, from Peter Ertz to Bonyaski and Ernesto Hust and Badahari and just Sammy Shields, all these, monsters that came out of that era. And I think they really opened the door for maybe some of the fighters today. Some of them are actually still fighting, to believe it or not. I think I saw a fight by Jerome Lemaire, and he's like 47 or 48, and he's still fighting. And Gokhan Saki, obviously. So it was a lot of fun talking to him about all these fighters from the past and, what's happening currently in MMA and Glory and in Muay Thai and all these different aspects of the fight game. And, we talked a little bit about some potential fights and some fights that are coming up, like Mike Tyson and just a few of the MMA fights that are coming up and some of the big names in the sport, just to get a bit of his insight, how he sees the game. And yeah, it's always interesting to get an insight from someone who is on the inside and who is a professional fighter and has been doing this for a very long time and has just dedicated his life and his lifestyle around this. I think people don't understand what it takes. Like, you'll see a fight and it's, anywhere from 9 to 25 minutes, depending on what organization and what type of fight and etc. But there's months and months and months of hard work and fight camps and sparring and breaking stuff. And that's where the hard work comes in. The final product is just those few minutes. That's where all the accomplishment comes in. But the hard work is those months and months. And that's the behind the scenes stuff. And, that's why I do enjoy when fighters do put up behind the scenes stuff. And like, I think, a lot of them don't want to show too much of the sparring because they don't want to show maybe some of the technique and some of the stuff they're working on before fights. But I always love it. It's always interesting to get an insight as to what they go through with weight cuts and sparring and, drilling. And that's something I always enjoy. Mike and I had a really fun conversation. It was fun learning a little bit more about him, how he grew up, how he got into martial arts, because again, it wasn't super popular in France, and I still don't think it's that popular nowadays. And that's, I think, why eventually he had to move to California, because it was hard to potentially grow in France and become a professional fighter. And yeah, just kind of how he sees the sport right now, what is some of his future plans, what he thinks about some Glory rules. And yeah, I think we had a lot of fun in this conversation. I think we'll definitely have to do it again in the future. And as always, guys, please share if you like this episode. Share it with your friends. Put it on social media. And as also, if you want to get in shape, definitely reach out to Mike. Look at his Instagram page. He's always sharing great tips about workouts, nutrition, how to get in shape. And he's also a personal trainer. So he does a 12-week program and he just shows you the ropes, what you need to do. He's with you throughout the whole process. And if you want that type of, or if you're looking for someone to really motivate you and drive you, Mike's definitely the guy. He's, the top of the heap, really breathes, drinks, lives, sleeps the lifestyle. And I think I think he would really help, especially during COVID times now when it's a little bit harder to get out and stay motivated. Gyms are closed. So give it a try. Check out his Instagram. And if you're interested, yeah, shoot him a DM. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Here is Mike Lemaire.
The Genuinely Interested Podcast.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I've wanted to talk to you for a while, man. I know you as a fighter, and I follow your Instagram, and I get inspired and simultaneously jealous because you're in top shape. I mean, you're in the 0.1% of people in top shape, I think, in the world. Like, it's next level.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with the territory, obviously, being an athlete.
Yeah.
It's kind of my job, and also it's something that I preach every day, especially on social media.
Mhm.
So if I don't, what is the expression in English? Talk the talk,
Exactly.
right? Walk the walk, then, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, I just lived a life, man. With age in this industry, as far as being a trainer, a fighter, a professional athlete, I just learned how to, I know my body a lot more nowadays, and I know that nutrition plays a big fact in recovery and all this. So and I'm always trying to educate myself and do some research constantly every day, reading books about nutrition and diet and exercises and then all this. And I went to school for that as well. So it's a passion of mine trying to help people as well to my my
Yeah.
platform if I can and build my brand. And it's going well, and seems like a lot of people like really liking it. So
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, you have different types of athletes. Like, you're an athlete and completely jacked, like 0% fat, and then you have a Roy Nelson with the
right.
with the nice
Yeah,
belly
but
and
here's
the
the
big
thing,
hair.
man. Fat boys, they last, man. They can go for fights.
He had cardio too. Yeah,
Yeah,
you wouldn't
well,
gas out in the first or
it's
second.
actually, if I mean, from the scientific point, if you look at it, it's more athletes like me with very low body fat percentage that will gas out more because you might need more oxygen to your muscles.
Yeah,
And so that's why the fat guys last longer. I fought plenty of fat guys, man, and they just go all the way. So it's don't sleep on them.
yeah. Well, there's also this notion, right, that muscle is strength. Like, you'll see a lot of guys that are just completely jacked. I saw this video the other day. I think it was Bisping or someone. He posted it, and there was this bodybuilder. His muscles were just ridiculous, right? And he was punching pads, and you could just see he had zero power in every punch. He just had no idea how to throw
Yeah,
them.
but if you take it out of context, he's a bodybuilder, man. That's his
Yeah,
life. Maybe he's doing it just for fun, for cardio. He's fucking around, like, what I mean? I don't know if Michael Bisping posted that to bash him. I have no idea because I didn't.
I think it was just a joke. Yeah,
The joke. Yeah, I mean, I've trained bodybuilders, man, like straight up for just cardio and shoulder endurance and all this, just for a different type of workout for them and just, burn some more energy. And then, obviously the technique is shit, man. They get too much muscle, man. It's very hard to be mobile.
yeah,
In boxing, it's all about the hip and being loose. So, yeah, it is pretty funny to see
yeah.
that.
Because you'll see guys with not a lot of muscle and just so much power in their
Right,
shots, right?
right.
And they'll
Yeah,
just put guys out.
to be honest, it's all about the speed, man.
Yeah,
Connecting to the target and whipping that shit back. That's how you're gonna put somebody down. So all the muscle really doesn't really matter if you don't know how to use it properly. Now you can condition yourself. There's
yeah,
tons of bodybuilders out there. You'd be surprised, man. They can fight. They're super athletic. They're not that stiff guy like midhead that you think. I mean, I know some guys that are 250 pounders doing backflip, front flips, and just it depends, man. It's all genetics, also.
it would be interesting to see if, like, big NBA guys started to get into, like, to like Muay Thai and
They
MMA.
do, man. They do. Some of them a lot. I trained two NBA players.
Really?
Yeah, at the gym. One was 6'9", the other one was 6'11".
Woo!
I was one of the tallest trainer at my gym. I'm 6'2", so
Yeah,
obviously you're not gonna pair him with like that. So I trained him for like 6 weeks, and surprisingly, man, like the biggest challenge I think for tall people is that in boxing, especially in fighting, is the high end coordination, man. It's like those goofy dogs that are long on. They kind of
yeah,
look like that, but surprisingly, man, I mean, the top athletes too. they're doing pretty really good. So I would be really scared of a Muay Thai, man, with the knees, the elbows, and you
Yeah,
got
it's like
all.
it's like a Sammy Schultz, right? It's like
Oh, yeah,
he's
exactly.
so big. All he has to do is lift his leg, and he's kneeing you
Oh,
in the face.
I told you this guy's 6'11", right?
He's huge.
Yeah. Do you remember that Korean guy also that fought in
Oh
Canada?
yeah, yeah. He fought some small guy once. I forget who it was.
Gokhan Saki fought him.
Really? I never saw
Mhm.
that fight.
Yeah, Gokhan Saki fought him. Man, he fought a bunch of dudes. But he wasn't that good because he's too slow, man. He was 400 pound,
No, he was
10
massive.
2.
I think he had I think it's called giganticism, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
Bigfoot Silva also in the
Yeah,
UFC. Yeah, he has that as well, I believe. Like your face is like super like
yeah. I
flat
think
and huge.
I think it's a genetic disease,
Yeah.
but yeah, he was. It's just Japan loves a freak show. They
Right.
love the type of
Yeah, especially in the 90s, man. That was the era of like, the sport of kickboxing was kind of like new. It's the golden era of kickboxing, man, the 90s. I grew up watching it, and
same.
then I got involved with like, man, Tyron Spawn, Gokhan Saki fighting on the same cars, in Muay Thai, John Wayne Parr and stuff like that. And then when you achieve that same level fighting on the same cars, it's pretty amazing, man. And some of them are still going hard too. So
Dude, man, I saw recently, and maybe this is someone that you kind of looked up to when growing up, but Jerome Lemaire, he's
oh
still fighting. He's like almost 50. I saw a fight that he
yeah,
had last year. I mean, he didn't look bad. I have no idea who he fought. It looked like another old guy, but he didn't look half bad, man. He was still in shape. Maybe a
and
little bit
still
maybe
yeah.
some extra
Right,
extra juice, but
the Japanese probably encouraged that back in the days. You know
yeah.
what? Go ahead. But yeah, but still, man, like you know what I mean. Like even people that use steroids and whatnot, I feel like to still do it at that age,
Yeah.
there's still like there's something to be said about that and something to respect. The will is still there. You know what I mean. After that, it's a personal decision if they want to, do that to their body and stuff. That's fine. But at the same time, man, he's a legend. He's the reason, one of the bigger reason why I got into the game for sure.
Yeah, you looked up to him growing
Yeah,
up.
in France because he was really like we had a lot of Muay Thai guys, but like he came up on the on the K1 scene, really kickboxing, and
Yeah.
I think that's what really made kickboxing popular too back home in France.
Oh yeah, all over. I feel like the K1 and the Grand Prix, those really opened the doors for Muay Thai, for K1. I mean, all these legends came out of there, right? Badahari, and in the Grand Prix you had Bakao and Masa, and all these people like Andy Sauer,
Hmm.
right? That no one was knowing about them before, and they're still legends. Some of them are still fighting,
Right.
and
Yeah, I'm waiting for Gokhan Saki to come back in the UFC, man.
the
That was
UFC.
definitely yeah.
Yeah, he got. I think last fight was Khalil Roundtree, and I think he got knocked out. Right?
Yeah, I think he lost that and then he got injured again. So it's been a long way. But I think Gokhan Saki's still young, man. I think he's
He's
like
like mid to late 30s.
yeah, he's around my age. He's probably a little bit older, like, by a few years, but, he's still got ways to go, though, shoot your body right, and some of those guys, man, if they have a good contract in the UFC or something, they make pretty good money.
Yeah,
And they have sponsors. So, if you only fight once or twice a year, it's good. You don't take too much damage.
yeah. Well, he's another one. He's just lightning fast. His
Uh,
punches are just
he's like,
incredible.
he's one of those guys you look at him, he's like, especially when he was a heavyweight, ooh, puffy.
Hmm.
Oh man, that 9 punch combination came in 3 seconds.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was
When he throws
insane.
those hands, it's just lightning fast.
There's something about those heavyweights that are not like supposed to be really heavyweight. Like, there's a bunch of them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They could fight lighter weight, but they stay there and they actually do better because it's faster.
yeah.
And that's the gift, the speed. Like Tyson was like this. He was a small, especially when he first started. Man, he was like 216, maybe even less. When he was like 19, 20 years old, he was like always under 218.
He's
And
a
then he's
massive. He
cutting
was
down
massive. Even at
240.
14, he was massive. Like when he was a kid, he
Yeah,
was always a big boy. And then like I think he kind of like stopped growing at a certain age, and
right,
then because
right.
he wasn't the biggest heavyweight.
Yeah, he grew fast though, but then no, he was not. He was definitely smaller heavyweight.
He was just ferocious.
Hmm.
How do you feel about his fight?
Oh man, I think
Are you excited?
I literally just heard about that last weekend. I was like, no, they're not. I saw the promo. I mean, you know what? I don't know, man. I don't know how, like, it's because it's supposed to be it's not a real fight.
It's a 4-rounder, I think.
I think it's 8.
I heard 4, but maybe.
Or maybe 4. I don't know. I hope it's 4. 8 is going to be like, I'd rather be short and then they go at it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how hard they're going to go. Are they going to just, spar and play?
I don't know. I think they're gonna go for it. I think they're gonna go.
Who do you got?
If it was a 12-rounder, I would lean Roy Jones because he's been active.
That's around.
But 4 rounds, I would lean Mike because he can just kill anyone in 1 round.
I just don't really know the intentions behind this fight. So, I don't know if they're like, he's coming out just because to prove something. Is it just sparring? Is it like just this, publicity stunt?
It's money.
Yeah.
It's always money.
It's like, is it a pay-per-view?
I think so. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. It's money.
I don't know, man. How old are they? 50 something?
They're both in their, I think, early to mid 50s.
I mean, the promo video of Mike Tyson training, though, he looks pretty scary.
Oh, Jesus, dude. He looks so scary.
I don't know. I'm sure there's a sound effect. The video, the edit is pretty good. And he's just like, doing his best for 30 seconds in front of the camera. But
still.
I'll watch it. I'm not going to lie. Like, I mean, 2 legends of the sport coming back. Come on, that's unheard of. Thank you.
I'd like to see that too. So let's talk a little bit about you, man. How did you first get into martial arts? What was your first martial art growing up?
Martial arts started when I was 4 years old. My dad grew up doing judo. He was a black belt in judo, and so was his dad, my grandpa. And so I had 2 older brothers. I'm the youngest of a family of 4 siblings. Mm-hmm. And then so my dad put me in judo with my brothers when I was only 4. And then from 4 to 14, 15 years old, I just did judo all the way. So I competed pretty high level at the time, traveling through France a lot, in the bus on the weekend and competing and stuff. But I kind of got bored with it, or just kind of fell off. And, I was 14, 15. I wanted to, kind of party because in Europe, you can go out and drink and stuff like that. So my mind was more on that,
Yeah.
Something I wish I kind of stick with, especially nowadays here in the US with MMA and all this and how competitive it is, So, but then that introduced me to boxing. So around 15, I remember just, I don't know, out, with my boys and we stumbled upon this little gym, and then so we signed up. And I did the English boxing, just the hands, for about a year. And I've done some kickboxing on the side as well. I started kickboxing a little bit there and there, but it was really the French savate, the French kickboxing. So it's a lot of flashy kicks and all this. I didn't really have the traditional Muay Thai, next to me. It was probably a couple hours away, and at that age, I couldn't drive and, and all this. It was really hard. So I moved to the US when I was 18 to 19 years old, and that's really when I started doing Muay Thai. So I landed in Boston first, so I found a gym over there, and I trained there, and then I moved to Hawaii, and I competed in Hawaii. I had 2 amateur fights that I won.
Oh, wow.
And then I moved to San Diego after that, which is, still where I reside nowadays. And then that's really when I started my pro career after that. I mean, I had amateur career for a little bit. And then, yeah, so that's my story, man. I've been around martial arts my whole life, pretty much, with my brothers and my dad, competing a lot in judo, then transitioning to karate and kickboxing, really like the Japanese art.
Yeah.
So I grew up really with the judo and karate mostly. And that's what most kids in Europe really have, especially back in the days. Martial arts was very still like this kind of, it was not really popular at all.
No, and I think MMA just became legal in France like last year or earlier this year.
Right.
It was illegal for the longest time.
I'm saying like the gym, there's no really, like there was no martial arts gyms. Like you'd have to go to a gym could be like a basketball court and like, that was your dojo.
Yeah, some
for a little
underground
bit.
shit.
But here in US, even when I moved, I hear in California, you got beautiful facilities and all these beautiful gyms. It's not like that in Europe. It's getting there, slowly. And big cities have them now, Paris and all this. But if you go around Europe, man, martial arts is still very like confined. It's not like a corporation where like big UFC gyms and not in chains like this at all. They don't have the fitness. It's separated. You understand? Here you have
Yeah.
both. You have like those fitness gyms slash MMA slash. You know what I mean?
Well, here it's the highest level, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Here you have it all.
yeah, that's the promise of the US, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
best of everything. But in Europe, I mean, what other countries would you say? Because I know the Netherlands is really big. Obviously, they had Dutch boxing, and a
I
lot of
think,
stars out of the
yeah.
Netherlands.
I would say France. France is very very good for Muay Thai. We had a lot of champions coming out from France. The Holland is definitely more kickboxing.
Yeah,
Different style. Italy is good. Uh,
England, we're seeing more fighters out of England now.
England has always been good, but England has always been good with boxing, not necessarily Muay Thai or kickboxing. Very good hands over there. Ireland has some good fighters. Germany has some great fighters. Then Russia, obviously, that's more Eastern Europe.
Russia, yeah, Russia is.
Yeah, Russia, they make sambo and all this. The killers out there, man.
Yeah, Sambo is just different level, man. Like the pressure those guys put on their
Mhm.
opponents.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I would compare that to like, like a wrestler out here in the U.S., Division One wrestler or something like this, but like they've been drilling this their whole life, some of the takedowns and all this. So that's why you see a lot of Russians too, going towards MMA as well.
But it's not even Russians, right? It's like Dagestanis. It's like this little
Right.
country, or they want to be a country within Russia, and they're putting wrestlers on their back. You see what Khabib does to high level jujitsu
Yeah,
guys, wrestlers.
type of grappling for sure. It's definitely closer to judo, I would say, than wrestling. Yeah.
Do you have any desire to try to do MMA at some point?
Hmm. Yeah. I think so. I think it's always been the big question for me is like when I moved to the U.S. and especially here in California, in San Diego, I was like, there was nothing really from Muay Thai. And I wanted to say really pure Muay Thai. It was a lot harder. There was not that many gyms, and MMA was really like kind of the way to go. UFC fighter came up, the show,
Yeah,
and so I thought that was going to be my route. So I trained some grappling jujitsu for like 4 or 5 years.
really.
Yeah, I did some on the side. I had a really bad shoulder injury, so I stopped doing Muay Thai for like almost 2 years. I mean, I would train it, but not, my focus was a little bit more grappling at that time. And and then I started doing Muay Thai again eventually, and I completely stopped. But a couple of weeks ago, I started training grappling a little bit. I just don't want to. I have all this free time right now. I want to,
Yeah,
also, put it to use to something else. For potential. We'll see.
dude, man, I'd love to see that. Because I mean, I don't know how you feel about glory rules. I love stand up fighting. I love Muay Thai. I love kickboxing. I love the whatever they have in one and Glory and all the
Right.
different ones. I don't like the stoppages that they do in Glory all the time.
Yeah, it's
I
too
feel like
much.
it's way too much. I feel like it interrupts the
It
flow
does.
of the
Yeah,
fight.
it does. Well, it took me. If you look at some of my fight with Glory, it actually took me a long time because transitioning from Muay Thai and being allowed in the clinch, and I was like, my strong point, really the clinch game,
Yeah,
and so transitioning to kickboxing was very different pace. You fight people from all over the world that have a kickboxing background, and here in the U.S., it's really it's a little different. And transitioning from Muay Thai, to this, the tempo is different, and so the referee always breaks you basically, and that was really frustrating at first. But I think I've managed, lately to do a lot better. This last few years, with the kickboxing range. You know what I mean?
I just feel like there's the potential for more stoppages because what happens is a fighter gets a little bit tired, right? Or he
Right.
doesn't want to engage as much and he just clinches up And then he'll stay there for 3, 4, 5 seconds. The ref will break it up, and then that keeps happening and happening and happening. And
it happened to me. It happened to me my last 2 fights, man. All those guys were just hugging me too. So because I'm coming forward and trying to catch a break, they don't want to fight. Literally just hugging me, you know, and the referee has to stop. I have to stop. I'm like, fuck, let me work. You know, if I'm gonna throw some knees and stuff, you know.
Is that frustrating?
It is frustrating, man. It is, but you know, at the same time, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, as a fighter, as a high level fighter, you got to be able to adapt. You know, so.
Would you be open to doing like what they do in one, where it's Muay Thai with 4-ounce gloves?
Love to fight in one. Now, honestly, when it comes to Muay Thai, man, it really depends. You know, kickboxing pays more. So I don't know organization like one, if you know, if they offer a contract where Muay Thai and kickboxing is the same pay, then that's something I could, you know, be interested in. But you know, I like to fight, man. So you might see me do some MMA or more Muay Thai. I don't know yet, but it's definitely not a no. I'm open to it. Yeah.
I feel like that's what it's, you know, maybe, I don't know, 15 years ago, the only show in town was pretty much boxing. And now the MMA and in UFC specifically have kind of opened the gates where you see so much crossing between different martial arts, right? You'll see one and people doing Muay Thai, and then they'll, I don't know, switch it up and they'll do some MMA, and then they'll go do boxing, and I don't know, they'll do wrestling and they'll do grappling. Like, they're just so much variation and so much more. I think this is the best time ever if you're a martial artist, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, I think technology has made it possible for everybody to want to watch it. So it's, you know, it's spreading, you know, all over the world really, and then allowing us to just share this, like you said, you know, different type of fighting on one platform, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but the only thing is, you know, this MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing, they're all different sports.
Yeah, definitely.
You move different, your defense is different, the glove size is different. That's a big thing, you know, as far when it comes to defense. So kickboxing is, especially Dutch style, is all up in your face, and it's just low kick, and it just everything is covered. They don't really do defense.
I would love to see like a K1 Grand Prix like they had back in the day. I love that. I still watch those fights. Like, I must have watched some of those fights.
I mean, Glory started doing that, man. I did 3 tournaments with Glory where I had one tournament when it was like 8-man tournaments. You got to fight 3 times
in one day.
Yeah, in one night, in one session, in like 2 hours, you're gonna fight 3 times. Yeah, that was the first tournament that I won, and then the second one was.
How was it fighting 3 guys in one night?
Oh man, best
brutal, no?
My best. Yeah, I think that's probably so far one of my best accomplishments.
Wow.
Yeah, just that.
That's what got you into Glory.
Yeah, that's what got me the contract with Glory. Glory was, you know, scouting in each country basically, and then they threw a middleweight tournament at the time, and you had to fight 3 times, make $20K, and so, you know, at the time it was good, man. It was, and I came back from a trip from Japan, and my coach at the time was like, "I signed you up for the tournament. You got 3 weeks. Let's get ready, get on the treadmill." And I was like, I did party for New Year's pretty hard, and you know, in Tokyo and all this, and so I came back and oh shit. We fight. And then so I told some of my friends back home about it, and they were like, "Oh man, we want to come and you know and see you live. We've never seen you fight."
Yeah.
And, you know, all my best friends back home, so they all flew to see me in LA fight. So that night was pretty cool because that's the first time they came to the US.
Yeah.
First time seeing me fight, so it was a very good night. We went to Vegas the same night after that.
And they saw you crush it, win 3 fights in one night.
Yeah, and so that's what got me into Glory. And then, so Glory at first, they had, man, those tournaments. They had like a $400,000 tournament for the heavyweight, you know, and it would go down a little bit as the weight class would go down. So they had that, man, with Go Kentucky, all those guys. Yeah, they started doing really well, man, and the sport never really took off here in the US, you know.
Or in Europe, right?
Well, in Europe, it's doing a lot better.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why you see most of the cars, you know, it's not a lot of American kickboxers, you know. So, you know, it's very hard out here in the US if you're, you know, a top kickboxers to like really make it. you know, because they really push the Europeans a little bit more. So that's why that market up in Asia with one championship is very interesting too. You know, explore different markets.
Yeah, one is great. I really
I love
enjoy
what
watching.
you do.
Yeah. So I mean, you had that great fight against Kamosi, who is, he used to be a UFC guy, and I think there was a lot of hype behind it because he comes from the UFC and because he's a big name. How was that fight?
Oh, it was fun, man. I like Chris. Chris is a cool guy. You
Yeah, it
know,
seems like it.
and plus he played the part, man. You know, he played the hype good as far as like the UFC pushing him and
Yeah.
the trash talking. I thought that was fun. And at first I was like, who is this guy? Coming from the UFC, because we all know that striking for kickboxing and striking for the UFC is completely different. So,
Yeah.
but he knows that as well. You know what I mean? So it was all fun. Chris was tough, man. Definitely can take a punch because I went off on him. Uh,
Really?
like, he was just a lot bigger than me, man. That was my last fight at 187, actually. 187 pounds. That was the decision after this fight, man. Like this, I don't know. I think Chris Camose probably would have been 220 that night.
Easy.
I was like barely 200 pounds.
Really?
So after rehydrating and all this, and
Yeah.
195 probably, I think I was. You know what I mean? So there's 20-pound difference there between me and him, and I felt that, especially against the ropes, he would use the shoulder roll a little bit MMA style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, me and Chris still talk to this day, man.
Really?
Yeah, he's cool, man. Nothing but respect to him, man. To do what he did, also to come from the USC and come into kickboxing and still fighting also MMA as well. That's something you got to respect, man. There's not a lot of people that cross over like that from one sport, especially at a high level.
Yeah.
You do high level MMA, high level kickboxing, high level even possible boxing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I feel like someone like Edson Barboza could do really well in Glory.
He's one of my favorite fighter, actually.
Like if you look at for the most part, most of his losses are people who either wrestlers or high level jiu-jitsu guys that put pressure and take him to the ground, like a Kevin Lee,
right?
Or I forget.
His losses were close every time. I mean, he's always giving somebody a fight, man. He can.
Yeah.
I love his style. Yeah, he's definitely one that I kind of like to watch in MMA for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in just like a only stand up.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But it's just the defense is different, man. So if you're not used to also that big pressure and being able to cover like this, like kickboxing is different.
Yeah, you can't cover as much with the 4-ounce gloves.
Exactly. So those guys, they move a lot more, and it's different. It's different sport.
Yeah. I saw that the Glory said that they're coming back. I think today they announced. Are you trying to get a fight? Are you excited?
Man. Well, here's the thing. Well, Glory technically just got rebought by another company.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I'd still have 2 fights on my contract for the remaining of the year, but I don't know. That's going to be very tough to do. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen with me and Glory in the near future.
So they're going through some management issues.
Yeah, they have, in this crisis, the virus just really hurt them bad. I'm sure, just like me, they have a lot of athletes to, to pay.
Yeah.
And, not being able to put out events, they can't. So I think, that to, get some help. And so I don't really know, man, but I just don't know if even this new company really is going to really push kickboxing that much more than Glory did. I don't know what's going to be the major difference here. So for me to stay with that, organization, I don't know. I have to see.
What would you like to see Glory add? Like, would it be, I don't know, elbows? Would it be, maybe 30 seconds in the clinch? Would it be would there be rules that you would like them to change?
Yeah, I mean, I got really used to them. As far as elbows, that's a different sport. That would be Muay Thai. So you can't, it's a kickboxing organization. Elbows could not happen. And the reason why they don't do elbows is because elbows are just, even though you don't knock somebody out, the fight is stopped in the first round, and it's a show business. That's what kickboxing is. It's a fast pace. Just bang it out, just go. That's what it is. They teach you to just go. Even before the fight, I always tell you, just go. don't hold on, like they tell you this, so they warn you,
Yeah.
but then you see a lot of, especially here in the US or, up and coming fighters that are coming from a Muay Thai background, try to make it to kickboxing, like I did, and kind of struggling a little bit against, maybe Europeans or, another style. It takes some time to really transition. But I would like to see them maybe a little bit more, with the clinch work, a little bit more time maybe before the release. But that's something that each referee is different on it. It's not so much the rule that Glory has; it's more the referee. There's referees that will leave you working the clinch surprisingly longer than others. You know what I mean? So you just gotta have the right referee that night for you, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, so yeah, I mean, what weight class do you feel that you're most comfortable in? I saw the last fight that you had. I think it was the guy's name. I think it was Malik Watson.
Yeah,
And your style is very, pushing forward, aggressive. There's, you don't take a step back type of, and he faded pretty quickly. And like I think the second or third, you could see him fade already.
All the knees that I was getting to his body, I was trying to slow him down. That was kind of my game plan, attack the leg. But I broke my foot in the first round.
You did? Oh shit!
Yeah, well, I broke it already, like when I was probably sparring like a camp. For my camp against the one in Miami before that, for sure my foot was also broken and in sparring at some point. So I just had a really bad experience with my foot this last year when I couldn't really kick, and it's one of my forte. Especially if you pin an opponent, you kick them, they brace and then you attack.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a bigger person and tracking somebody down, this is something that we do. So with that being said, yeah, Malik, man, he just kept holding on to me. It was really frustrating. He headbutted me 3 times. So I had major cuts all over my face, but it wasn't even punches. It was, But so that was frustrating. I was trying to tell the ref, I was like, are you serious?
And no point deduction?
And then it just, no point deduction, nothing. I think he might have gotten a warning the last round, but I'm not even sure. But overall, yeah, just my last 2 fights with Glory, man. Also, going down from 187, I used to be like the smaller guy, so getting in people's faces, to now being like one of the bigger one. So the range is also different, which is kind of cool. To be honest, now I'd rather be at 170. I think I'm more comfortable. I've worked all those last few years to really, have a diet kind of really working out for me as far as not putting on too much muscle or too much weight, unnecessary weight. So I feel more functional and just as strong. I'm a little faster, a little bit more pop and a little bit more agile too. So I like it.
Yeah. So 170 is your ideal weight class?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, 175 would be great too. A little 170 is a big cut, a little bit. So
you don't have a lot to cut. I mean, you carry like almost zero fat.
With the bigger you are, the more water you have also.
Yeah.
And I think with guys that are a little bit more dense with muscle, it's a little bit easier for them to cut a weight as well. But with that being said, man, we have a good protocol for my weight cut, and I feel great come fight night. So I don't see really a thing changing about that now. If I went to go to a different organization and at 175 or 180, I'll probably go there.
What do you usually walk around at?
It really depends, man. My weight fluctuates. You know what I mean? Depends on how disciplined I am with the diet, of course. But I would say right now I'm probably 193, something like this. And yeah, sometime 190, sometime 195. It really fluctuates. Honestly, I don't even have a scale in my house. Yeah, the mirror, man. At the gym, there's a scale, and this is usually where I kind of weigh myself just to kind of see where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I know, man. I can tell if I'm 192, 195. Like I literally wake up in the morning and I already know.
Do you usually start training in the morning? Like you like to get a
I like, man. I mean, I have my routine like every athlete, I'm sure, but I usually I'm definitely a morning person more nowadays. So I like to get a workout in the morning usually, and I'll kind of chill around lunchtime, do some business, whatever I got to do, some errands, chill a bit, and then train again in the afternoon. I'm probably going to train after this. I'm going to go do some conditioning a little bit, and I trained this morning. So I try to really maintain a schedule right now. I'm just because it's easy, man, with no fights on the on the horizon, and not even have a date for athletes, for fighters. It's hard, man, to stay focused on all this. So I'm just maintaining my discipline when it comes to training. Staying sharp, staying ready if needed. And yeah, it's all about balance, man. You just gotta find the right balance.
Yeah. Are you itching to get back in? Are there some fighters that you'd love to fight? Who would you like to fight in your division? Who's like a good fight for you?
Well, like there's one more fight in the U.S. Troy Jones in my weight class with Glory. That's the only one because we were supposed to meet in the finals of the tournament, but I got hurt, so that never happened. And now with the Glory situation, I have no idea, to be honest. Uh, Cedric Doumbé is my number one target. I mean, he's the title holder.
Fellow Frenchman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's another French guy, and he's good, man. His style is just like really not orthodox, right? So to speak.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that. So it'll be an interesting fight,
I think he's undefeated, right?
I believe I don't know. I'm not sure, man. I don't wanna batch his record or say something wrong. So
Yeah. No, he's a super exciting fighter. He's
he's charismatic. He's cool, man. Like he's I like to fight him. I like to fight Groenhart.
okay.
All those top three. There's that British guy that just won against Haru that I want to fight too. He's like the number one over there in England. So yeah, I like to fight all those guys, man. Whether it's with Glory or One FC, whatever.
Yeah.
Who
What did you think of the Badr Hari Rico fight?
It was beautiful. Badr Hari is such a legend.
Yeah, you like that fight?
Man, I mean, Rico is I don't know. Rico is good, and Badr Hari just put it on him. He just still have that killer instinct, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what happened to his leg or to his.
Yeah, that was very weird, man.
That was very freaky.
I mean, that was gonna be over. Like Rico was out. All he had to do was just like get up and then finish him.
Yeah.
I guess his ligament in the foot got torn or something.
Did they ever release? Because I've never I never followed up. I never actually heard what happened to his leg.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think he posted pictures of the hospital and something. He said his ligament was something went off, but who knows? No idea. Badr Hari, man, he's a legend, man. He's known around the world for sure. As far as kickboxing, he's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure those guys made like a nice chunk of change on that fight.
Well, I mean, and those guys carry the sport though, and that's why also like I'm thankful for both of them, because if I wasn't for a big heavyweight fight like that, where like even boxers are looking at it, where MMA fighters are really looking at it, like you know what I mean, when celebrities are like attending the event and stuff like that, that's good. That's what we need.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not like that all the time, So.
No, but I do think it's and I see this in MMA as well. There's a lot of stock being put on the cult of personality. You have to be entertaining. Like being a good fighter is great, right? You have to be that to get to the top. But on top of that, you have to do well on social media. You have to be good looking or funny or authentic or whatever it is that your true self is. You have to know how to make that shine in the best possible way. And shit talking is something that, it sells fights at the end of the day. If you look at McGregor, if you look at, all the, Muhammad Ali back in the day. And if you look at Badr Hari, he's a shit talker and he gets in your face. And that's the stuff that sells fights, right? People want to tune in to see that stuff because there's the whole buildup. And then it's either they love you or they hate you, but they're still going to tune in to watch the fight, either to root against you or for you.
Yeah, that's always going to be the fight business, man. It's always been like that. It's always going to be like that. But this cultures that are different. Like if you go to Japan, man, and you fight over there, because I've been there in Tokyo and I watched for New Year's. The reason why I got into Glory, by the way, is that tournament. But I went to Tokyo for New Year's to visit my buddy, and he took me to the Glory fight, Tokyo 4, Glory 4 in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So we watched those fights, and the next day I went to the temple and I prayed and I said, this year I want to become part of Glory because I just seen the fight last night, and I want to be a Muay Thai world champion.
Wow.
And I came back from my trip, and my coach said, "Hey, you got 3 weeks." I won the tournament, so that was my first one. And then the promoter of WCK called me after winning this tournament. It was like, "Hey, we have a title on the line if you want to fight for it." It was like, "Yes," and so, and I did, and so within like 3 months, I think I won the tournament and a world title in Muay Thai.
Oh,
So
it's awesome.
yeah, it was a good time.
I mean, yeah, it's that what's that Luke Rockhold quote? Believe, conceive, achieve, something to that effect, where you see what you're gonna do in your mind's eye, and then you go do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think McGregor, for all his faults, I think there's a few things that Conor McGregor did in the fight game that are absolutely amazing. And like you said, like you were talking about Badr Hari and Rico, like they carry the sport. I think he's someone that carries the sport in MMA, and when he's on a card, everyone else gets paid more.
of course.
They appreciate it, and he kind of leveled up the game where before
Oh,
everyone was.
McGregor is a legend too, man, for sure.
He is.
He definitely did something very great for the sport of MMA. Um, whatever you think about him, I like him. I think he's a great
No,
fighter.
I like him. Yeah.
And he's actually, what he says is he's smart, man. He's got a really good fight IQ. He's a smart guy, man. He might not always look like he is, but he's a lot smarter than he looks. Then maybe
No, he's a very intelligent guy.
calculated
He
too,
was.
yeah.
Sorry.
He's calculated,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and now what I was gonna say was I was watching him because I've been watching MMA for a long time, and I watched his first fight, and then I found him on YouTube, and I was watching like the behind the scenes and the first 2 or 3 fights. I think his fight, I can't remember exactly, but I believe second or third, I think it was Marcus Brimage, and I believe it was in Ireland. I could be mistaken, but I believe that's what it was. And he was in the hotel room, and he was showing the camera the book The Secret, and he was saying like he's been reading this for a long time, and he was envisioning himself achieving these things, and now he's doing it. But it's, again, like you didn't really see fighters talk about that kind of stuff 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and he was one of the first that was pretty much like not ashamed to do these type of movements that he was doing, or talk about business, or come like in suits. So he really changed the game, and again, it goes back to being authentic. Like he shined who he was in a very good way.
Right, I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as pay, I know there was a big pushback in MMA, and there's John Jones and Namaz and all these people that were just not willing to fight because, because essentially they said that they're not getting paid enough. And there was a trend for a while of people that were just not going to fight if they didn't get paid their worth. Is there the same type of pushback in Glory and in kickboxing, or are you not really seeing that?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's fighters saying that.
yeah, of course, all of us. Yeah, man. I mean, this is the fight game too, though. It's just like it's always going to be like that, Especially, I mean, the hardest is really more like when you're up and coming, because the way it really works when you're up and coming professional fighter, if people don't know, is first of all you don't make shit. Two, it's mostly ticket sales. So and it's promoters will get you on the card if you can sell tickets.
Really?
So then if a shy fighter, for example, you don't have a social media, it's not really your thing, but you're a killer, it's going to take you a long time and, to really like shine, I guess, so to speak. Um, so yeah, that's the way it works, man. So until you land them with a big organization, it's just not, and that's why everybody's, trying so hard to get to that level. But even to that level, man, it's always going to be about money and how much they can squeeze out of you, of course.
Yeah. Does Glory allow you to wear sponsors, unlike the UFC that doesn't allow that anymore?
Yeah, I have Monster Energy, my sponsor.
That's awesome.
I usually, yeah, wear with them.
Yeah. So I mean, let's talk a little bit about your workout regime, because I feel like that's, I mean, more than most fighters. I just, I don't know. I like following your stuff. I like seeing the workouts you put out. I've done a few, and I feel like they're really good because I feel like they're doable. A lot, sometimes you'll
Yeah.
see stuff and you're like, I don't know if I could do that, but this is
Well,
doable.
I think, really what I try to do, first of all, I try to have fun in front of the camera. It's not always something that I'm like really planning on doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of them I really come on the spot, man. Like I'm just kind of feeling myself, and I'll be like, you know what, let me record this and I'll share it. That's really how the idea came, and a
Okay.
lot of people in the last couple of years have always, asked me, why don't you post more of that shit, stuff like that, even when the diet and stuff.
Hmm.
But with that being said, when you train all the time, when I was busy in camps and stuff, it's not something it takes time, man.
Yeah.
Doing all that shit on social media takes some time. So with this coronavirus, though, I some time reflected, and I was like, hey, that might be a good time for me to start my online business. Where I do actually, I am personal trainer online, basically. I help people with nutrition, working out, and all this, consult. But I also want to share some of my own training, with my followers, and kind of like share my lifestyle and what really works, I think, and some cool stuff. I don't, like everybody else, I'm influenced with what I see a lot on social media. You know what I mean? Like the trends a little bit, so to speak. But I mean, I'm a high level athlete, and I believe that what I share, you know what I mean, is effective. I know it works. It's what I do myself. You know what I mean? I'm not there to sell anything. I'm just showing what I do every day.
Do you keep to a certain diet?
I have a really good like relationship with food. It's like, yeah, so to speak, I eat really clean during the week usually, and on the weekend I just eat whatever I want.
Binge.
But yeah, kind of binge eat for sure. I mean, I eat a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, you burn a lot too.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, I've always had an appetite, man. Since I was a kid, I've just always been a foodie. Like
Yeah.
always, I just eat.
What's your go-to?
Like
Yeah.
last night, I just cooked it up real quick with a Japanese barbecue.
Nice.
So I have this little grill that I bring outside on my patio, and I have all those little cuts of prime Japanese wagyu little steaks and stuff, and then I had rice, I had some asparagus, I had some shishito peppers, and it's all grill on that little grill, so it's bomb. That's kind of what my it's not like during the day like this when I'm busy and I'm constantly either training or doing stuff. I don't want to eat too heavy, so I'll have a big salad, get all my
Yeah.
greens and some protein in there. And then depending on my day, if it's a heavy day, if I sprint, I'm lifting weight, I'm sparring, whatever, I'm definitely gonna have a lot more carbs that day, for example. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I alternate a little bit, but it's mostly it's just whole food diet. There's just no secret, man. I don't eat like processed food. I mean, I do love ice cream, and I eat it. I eat some of that, on the weekend and stuff. But during the week, I try to stay disciplined.
Ice cream is for the soul, man.
I know there's nothing, yeah. No, I mean, honestly, and that's the problem. I try not to buy it, so I don't eat it.
Yeah.
Because at night, sometime, you open the freezer and you see the ice cream, and you're like, if I start, the pint, it's done.
Oh, dude, I'm the same.
There's no way I'm going half back in the freezer.
I can hear it. I can hear the ice cream like whisper from the fridge, like, "Come eat me." I'm like, and I just like, I can't stop either. It's a problem.
Yeah, me too. Ice cream is definitely my vice. It's probably something I eat at least once or twice a week. I don't condone it, but because there's a bunch of sugar in there, and it's
Yeah.
it's really bad for you, but it's delicious.
Yeah. No, it evens out in the end, man. It's
Yeah, it evens out, man. Like I said, that's why I'm all about balance. Even like some of my
yeah.
clients, I'm not like I've never been the type of person I've never myself counted my calories at all. Like ever.
Yeah.
Not once. Not even once. Like counted like even for a fight. I just go like the way I look, the way I feel. I just know all those things. Now I do calculate for my clients and stuff like that. That's different. But for me, I've been doing this, for the last 15 years, even more,
Yeah.
cutting weight and stuff. I don't really need it.
it just seems like so tedious and laborious to count your calories and like every single like
Uh,
I try to I try to eat healthy. Like obviously I you know I binge once in a while and I don't keep to it. And I just feel like people who try to keep to like this super strict regiment of diet,
right.
it's not sustainable. Eventually they're gonna fall off. So like you might as well just give yourself a little bit of, you know, leeway here and there. Just enjoy.
And that's what I try to represent, man. With with me being my my brand is
Yeah.
it's like I have a balanced lifestyle. I drink wine and I post about it, like maybe some other natural stuff. I'm all for balance, man, and in
Hmm.
moderation, like so like that bodybuilding lifestyle with everybody's like logging their food and tracking this. It's good for a while. If you've never done it, I have clients, they need to do it at first because they want to, they want to like a new lifestyle. And that's what they're doing. That's when they need to do it and learn how to do it. I know how to do it. Some people don't. So once you learn your body, you don't really need that. Now for bodybuilding and all this, the way they make a living is different. But for me,
Yeah.
I'm a professional fighter, and and I'm in shape. Just that discipline, good diet and genetics, man. It's hard work, diet, and just consistently to like the last 20 years of my life.
Dude, I need to get how do I get abs? I've been trying to get abs for like the last 10 years,
That's all
right? Is it
you do it.
is it more food or is it more working
Let's
out?
see those ads then. You need
Dude, man, look, I run. Like I don't, this month I've probably ran last time I checked it was around 30 something miles
well,
so
that's
far
a mistake. You doing
running.
yeah, you're doing way too much cardio. That's the thing. Like people think that like running like 5
Well, that's the only thing, right? Everything else is closed. There's no
yeah,
gyms.
that's them telling that doesn't work. I mean, it will keep you lean. It doesn't mean it's gonna burn the fat.
Okay.
It's different things. You can get fucking skinny as fuck running.
So give us tips. Give us some tips.
It's what you eat, man. It's what you eat and it's what you do. It's the type of workout you do. So if you want to just burn some fat, first of all, you got to get some up. Do you lift weight? Okay, well, if you don't lift weight, it's gonna be harder to like some abs, and it's doable. But do you do like body weight push-ups and stuff like that at least?
No, I don't want to be muscular. I
No,
don't
I
want to
know.
be.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. So you're not gonna get crazy jacked. I'm just saying, if
Yeah.
you diet, you want to do a body composition. You know what I mean? But for you, if you constantly running all those years and it's all you've been doing, your body is not changing. It's for a reason.
Yeah. Well, just probably the last, since COVID, probably I would say the last
You
five
know, a
months
lot
because
more.
the gym is closed.
I
So
would say, for you, it just try to, integrate a little bit of weight training, and then you can
mhm,
just do like a HIIT protocol, like a high intensity. You can just
yeah.
have a dumbbell or, some of the workouts I do, man, those are the best because they're short and intense. I would definitely reduce the running and focus
Okay.
more of that energy towards this. You can keep running if you like it, man. There's nothing wrong. I'm not saying I run too, you know. But as far as like then getting ripped, it's not necessarily the best option, and and your body is just so used to it, so you want to change your pattern a little bit. And I'm not sure what you eat. I mean, the ice cream is definitely not going to help, even though you got to run a lot.
Ice cream for lunch, ice cream for breakfast. No, I'm joking.
Switch it up, man.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Switch it up a little bit. Focus more on lifting weight, and not necessarily weight resistant training.
Yeah.
You can do body weight explosive work in 20-minute work, and that's it. And then you can finish with like maybe a slow jog or something like the 20-minute, you know what I mean? To kind of add it some burning calories, but to do the same 5 miles over and over, you know, that's
Do you do any intermittent fasting?
yeah, fasting works. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I started fasting when I, on my way down to 170. Basically, I started doing a lot of high fat diet
Okay.
and kind of a keto
Like a
style.
keto? Yeah.
More keto, and it works, man. Once you can transition to that keto state, and see, that's the thing. I don't really, like I said, I don't really track, but I know how to play around with different type of fuels for my body and for which ones. So if it's something light, uh, then I would rely mostly on fats, and lower carbs. And if I have something very hard, I know I'm gonna need some extra energy. Then I'll get some starch in me, some glucose and stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about your 12-week shred program?
Yeah, so I started this actually a few months ago during the pandemic. And so, like I said, I've been wanting to do this for years, try to help people and scale it really. And so I thought about doing this, and my 12-week program is basically I work with you one on one, obviously through the laptop or the phone. But once a week we do a phone call like this, and
Yeah.
we talk about your progress. We address it, we adjust if needed, and we go from there. So every week we have this, and obviously I provide you with assistance with the diet. So there's different phases that I have my client depending on your goals and needs, because I have athletes and I have just the average mom who wants to lose 30 pounds, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So it's really different, and this is why it's kind of I like the personal touch where like I get on the phone with you or a FaceTime convo or something like this, and you can talk to me, you can pick my brain, and I'm just always transparent and very very honest with who I train, and I take pride in that and just trying to really help them get better. So you have nutrition, you have your workouts, and once a week we meet all together, and this is for 12 weeks.
And I think it really helps when you have some sort of accountability, right? Like when there's a coach
I think
like yourself. Yeah. Like if it's just me running, I can slack. But if I know, oh, okay, I got a quote unquote report to you at the end of the week, I won't slack off. I'll take that responsibility and do what I need to do.
yeah, everybody's different, man. Like, I mean, there's so many apps out there, and most of my clients that come to me, they just struggle because they scroll through social media all day and try to find the perfect
Yeah.
workout, and it's like,
Yeah.
so there's people that do well with just a net that tells you what to do, and that's it, and it's cheaper and all this, and if not, there's trainers like me that provide that kind of service when I'm with you all the way, through emails or a FaceTime convo that we have and all this. And I literally show my clients what I eat, what I take supplements wise, really what works.
Yeah.
And some of them take them, leave them, and but so far I've been having great results, man. All my clients are really satisfied. So it's been fun. It's been a good balance for me in between my training sessions and stuff as well. Keeping me busy. So I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, guys, you should definitely try it out if you're interested, because I'm telling you, this dude is shredded. And if you can be even close to that, you're going to be very happy.
I'll get you in shape, guys, for sure.
So yeah, just before we go, I wanted to talk. One of the parts of your social media that I love the most is your dog. I'm a pit bull
Yeah,
lover.
man. I grew up with 8 dogs back out.
Really?
Yeah, my dad is a fanatic of dogs, and I always grew, yeah, man. I've always grew up with like 8, 9 dogs. The minimum was always 3 or 4 big ones too, some huge dogs, all
Yeah.
fighting. I mean, I got my ear bit off, and then my face cut off completely in a dog fight. My dogs that I would try to separate. So I just
Yeah.
grew up in a household full of big family, lots of dogs. So I'm
Jesus.
definitely a dog person, and this is my first pit bull actually, and they're amazing dogs, man.
Amazing.
Amazing dogs, yeah.
What, because I have I have a pit bull, and she's the most subdued, submissive, chill, relaxed, nicest dog ever, right? Like, it's like the complete opposite of what people think a pit bull is.
Lanika, people trip. She's super laid back. She's such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say this, and I just
And yeah, I hear it in the background.
She barks only if somebody's at the door. So
Someone's at the door. Yeah.
somebody's probably at the door. It might be a delivery or something like that, but she really never barks. She's super like, it's weird to say.
Well,
She's literally barking.
she knows what she knows you're talking about her. She's like, don't talk about me.
But anyway, yeah, pit bulls, man, they're great. She's awesome. I love her. She's my everything.
What happened on the flight? You had some issue on the flight going to Montana or coming back from Montana.
Lenny. Oh yeah, no, this lady at the airport was just standing right behind me, and she's talking shit about me and Lenika, and she's like, I don't want to fly with you and this dog on the flight. I was like, okay, well then.
Really?
Yeah, I said then. I'm
just flat out. That's what she told you?
Flat out. She's like, no, man, she got crazy. Like I was my one of my best friend was with me too at the time at the airport, and people were like, "Who is this lady?" Like she started raising her voice and cursing at me. So I mean, I cursed back at her, and basically I guess maybe she had a bad experience with pit bulls in her life, or
Yeah.
she was just scared of the dogs, and particularly pit bulls. She's like, "I hate pit bulls; they're terrible," and she's just starting this. And I'm like, lady, I don't even know you. Like, mind your
Yeah.
own business. Like, I'm going on the plane whether you like it or not. Like, I don't. And plus, she has a service dog jacket. She's legit. She's like,
Yeah.
give her some CBD and and she's super chill. She's like non-threat at all. Like when people see my dog as even a pit bull, they want to like pet her because she's so like she's beautiful and she's a little girl. She's not. She doesn't have like she's not scary.
No, that's the thing. Like, it's funny how we perceive things. Me, I see a pit bull, I'm like, I actively try to go and pet them, where other people, they'll cross the street,
Right.
like, so what I see is not what they see.
I get both. Even here in my neighborhood, man, there's a couple old people like, and it's just you can tell they're just not comfortable around people.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that just love her, and
Yeah.
agree with you and I because they're either pit bull owners or they had pit bulls or they know somebody who had pit bulls. They just have
It just,
reps, man. But if you raise them with love, no problem at all.
yeah, it just sucks because they get a bad rep, and they shouldn't, because they're great dogs. And it annoys me when people say bad things about them,
Well, yeah,
it's unfortunate.
it's up to us to raise that standard for them, though. And that's why
100%.
that's why I also posted a lot of shit about this. It's like, look, my dog is a pit bull and she's cool as fuck and she's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw one video.
Loves the water, man.
I saw one video where she got a deer was chasing her.
Yeah, I got a little bit of heat for that, and I was like, trying not to say that. I was like, I don't know. For me, Lenny is so quick and young, and I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, it looked a bit dangerous.
Yeah, well, I mean, you never know, but like,
Yeah.
honestly, it wasn't even the first time that Lenny done that. I've
Really?
thought it before go after deers over there. And what are you gonna do? Like by the time I'm there, and I thought it was funny, and I recorded it. But yeah, man, it was just that's what happens out there. A dog is gonna be a dog too, man. There's too many rules out there. Like I grew up with my dogs doing, like they were always outside and basically had a big yard and just dogs are dogs, man. Like they're so, you know.
Montana is beautiful. Montana's.
Yes, it is.
I want to go one day. It's high on my bucket list.
Yeah, man, it's kind of a untouched territory. It's kind of like it's
Wild West.
it's some of those places are tough to live in the winter, but
Yeah.
the rest of the year,
You don't like the cold?
I love the cold.
Okay.
I love all of it. I like seasons. This is what I kind of miss about being here in California.
It's just hot all the time.
It's nice all the time. It's nice all the time. San Diego, we have it.
Yeah, New York.
Yeah, I used to live in Boston, man, so I know East Coast.
Yeah, but New York is like It's everything is to the extreme. Like the winter is really cold. The summer is extremely hot and humid.
Yeah, it's so humid in New York. Oh my god,
dude, it's crazy.
I fought there. My first fight, I fought three times now in New York, and twice I made it in Square Garden. And every time we go, it was the first time was the summer, and it was so hot. It's terrible. Yeah, I don't know, East Coast, man. Like that weather, that humidity in those cold ass winter. You guys got it rough.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That makes you though.
I guess. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I want to leave.
Here, man, that people are soft a little bit.
Yeah.
People. It's super liberal. It's like it's such a it's laid back. It's all this, but everybody gets hurt about anything, and
Oh, it's the same in New York. I mean, in New York, it's a little bit more brash, I would say. People don't get hurt as much, but you're definitely seeing it more. I think like if you go to the big metropolitan cities, you're kind of going to get the same person throughout the US right now.
Of course.
Especially like in the younger ages, where just everyone gets offended by everything you say.
Everybody has something to say, and everybody's get hurt.
Yeah, and everyone's got a voice on social media, and it's amplified.
Yeah,
that's the word. All right, my man. I really appreciate
Yeah,
the time, man.
thanks for having me, man. That was fun.
Yeah, I had a blast,
Yeah.
and
We'll do it sometime again.
100%, 100%. And yeah, where can people find you? Where can the listeners find you?
I'm mostly really on Instagram, even though I started a TikTok that I think I haven't logged in a month now. I created an account for fitness, and then like I was like, it's too much work.
I think they're gonna cancel it in the U.S.
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't. For now, I don't really care. But anyways,
Yeah.
Mike Lemaire. So MikeLemaire, just attach at Instagram.
Yeah, guys, and look him up if you're interested in through COVID, getting fit, getting in shape. He's the man.
Yeah, just follow me on Instagram. Just I post a lot of tips when it comes to diet. Some nutrition, some exercises, or just kind of like behind the scenes, some of my days, sometimes a little bit, as an athlete and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool, man. And I'm looking forward to your next fight, hopefully this year.
Yeah,
With any luck?
I hope I can squeeze one in, man. But
Yeah,
I'm going with the flow, man. I'm still training. I'm still there. So
yeah. You're a cool guy, man. All right.
man.
I had a blast, man. We'll have to do it again.
All right, man. Later.
Stay cool.
Bye.
See ya.